Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to tonight's Poets in Pajamas reading. I am the titular poet in my pajamas. My name is Oscar Mancinas. I'm a poet and fiction writer of Rarámuri-Chicanex heritage, based here in Arizona. And I'm dressed like a wizard at 4 p.m. because I commit to the bit. Got my little candle holder and everything for my pajamas. That'll probably go out soon. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple of minutes and let folks trickle in. Check to make sure everything is all right. Hope everybody out there is having a good time. A nice Sunday and Labor Day weekend. So, thank you, Shannon. Yep. Thank you, Poets in Pajamas, for hosting me. It's a lot of fun. And look at that, my candle already went out. But it's okay. We're going to soldier on. Excellent. So let me go ahead and give everyone a few more minutes to trickle in. While I do, I'll just say a little something more about myself. I'm honored to be here. I was really stoked to get this opportunity. I've been writing poetry. I've been writing poetry, or publishing poetry rather, for about 9 years now. And so I've published a couple of books. There will be links, I'm sure, throughout. And Shannon, thank you, will be moderating the chat. But yeah, so I will start by reading from my this micro chapbook called Roto, a Mixtape, published by a local zine publisher here in Phoenix, Arizona, called Rinky Dink Press. I will start by reading a short piece from it titled All My Friends. So here we go. All my friends, held up at every checkpoint, at every excuse, to document our existence, our remains. How do we keep moving? What wounding do we carry like it's tradition? That's how it starts. Thank you. So that was the first one. The next poem I'm going to read, I actually published back in 2017 in this edition of Hayden's Fairy Review, which I really love the art for. The art is by I forget the artist's name at the moment, but they dwell in my hometown, Mesa, Arizona. And this poem is a found poem, and it'll actually be featured in my next book of poetry. I'll say more about that at the end, but I'm currently working on a book of poetry that is set to be published next year in 2022. I'm very excited about it. But this poem is titled 1-star Yelp reviews of the Grand Canyon, or looking a stolen land in the mouth. You can see they published it like this. So it's got an epigraph from the Kid Marrow on Twitter. It says, "White people Yelp reviews be having plot twists and shit. I saw a number of other negative reviews, but I felt compelled to write this one because I felt none of the others really hit the nail on the head. Whoopity-doo, Grand Canyon, you're a giant hole in the ground. You were caused by erosion. You don't have roller coasters or Dippin' Dots. Sheesh. Can you say overrated? Once you have been to Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon is a joke. And I'm an Arizona native. There are no animals, no greenery, no clear blue streams, just a muddy river, rock, and sheer cliffs. You'll go ooh and ah for 30 seconds and then feel guilty that you're ready to leave after that. So, in summary, 5 stars as a natural wonder, 1 star as a park developed for recreation. So much potential, yet offers so little to the vast majority of the park's visitors. What a waste of one of the greatest natural features on Earth. I've seen better. Big whoop. 1-star Yelp reviews of the Grand Canyon. And I'll preemptively answer, those are all, everything in this poem is a found poem, was taken from, for real, 1-star Yelp reviews of the Grand Canyon you can find on Yelp if you go searching for them. I just kind of mess with them a little bit. Okay. So I mentioned earlier, I am Rarámuri. Those are my dad's people. I get through my father's side. He was born on our ancestral land in the Sierra Madre in Chihuahua. He was displaced. He and his family, my grandparents, were displaced when he was an infant, and so part of my work, part of what I honestly do in life, is try to recuperate some of our tradition, some of our language, some of our history, and this next poem is also going to be in my next book of poetry, entitled "Kene no mateterava," which translates to "Thank you, Dad," or "Thank you, Father." My dad shares fragments of memories he keeps of a home mis abuelos fled as occupations continue. I ask when he returned to his or our land after being displaced for the first time. Fui a buscar mis papeles para casarme. Fue la primera vez que visité Chihuahua, después de que nos habíamos venido para Sinaloa, cuando fui por mi acta de bautismo. As he speaks, I try to imagine him with his bride-to-be traversing mountains, together struggling to return somewhere lost, searching to prove his origins and rights to cross any border, attempting to detain him from his future. Thanks. So in the same way, I'm Rarámuri by my father's side. My mother is also from Mexico. She also migrated to this country around the same time as my dad did. They met here in Arizona, and that's sort of my origin story. But this next poem is similar to the previous one. It's about a sort of conversation I had with my mom once upon a time. It's called "Mi Ama Tells Me Why Neither My Siblings Nor I Have Middle Names. A todos les dimos nombres bien simples que pudieran traducirse fácil porque sabíamos que iban a batallar mucho como niños mexicanos en este país. I was a kid when I first learned of this calculation, but knew already how we concede ourselves like territories or limbs trapped within ready-made synthetic teeth, necessary to keep going. What I didn't know then, and have not learned still, is what little it helps. So that's a poem about neither I nor any of my siblings have middle names. Okay. So now I'm going to turn to my chapbook, Jaula. This is my debut chapbook. It was published through Gasher Journal. Shouts to them. They've been lovely and dope to work with. This is the title poem, the titular poem, Jaula. For folks who don't know, Jaula is Spanish for cage. So I'll just go ahead and read it. It's a longer poem. But always this cursed condition, fenced in on all sides by border or militia or history or lost men swathed in armored flags, wandering in search of something to burn. Always the dying, never the killing, the first light, the resurrecting, never the survivance, the chosen martyr to do it once more. Always our bodies suspect to fictions told and retold of unnatural scattering across homelands without documents, only histories of deserts, of clouds and mountains, of spirits dancing alongside us, undetained by imaginary checkpoints, unmarked by unneeded words. Still breathing, white oblivion set alight, cannot consume us, cannot obscure us, our shadows and howls, Echoes unsilenced resonate still on skin, movements undetected recover bodies living against chain link lies touched. We open serrated mouths and let noonlight strike our flint tongues, laughing saliva into chispas, and let our spit dissolve concrete rotting borders separating children, songs, ghosts, futures, homelands, and let us bleed, beliefs, beating, breaking, being, belonging. Y déjate sentirlo sin falta. Let yourself feel without your storyteller heart, your songbird ferocity, tu lenguaje de amor serpentina. Remember through flesh the fear of becoming devoured by dirt, by sea, by sun, by eternity, by word, and let memory swell as sandstorms wear rocks, accumulate mountains from dust light enough to kiss into the stars, obsidian mirrors, by whispers, faint as ancestral breath, felt more than heard, sound and wave, dreams of dreams, rising from within our desert to proclaim no more. No more melting pot emptiness, no more monuments for ancestors who plundered, no more ruins for ancestors who did not think of walls, did not first speak transatlantic annihilation, no more told to us by those who don't know us. Aquí, where our souls cannot be caged, we reunite with loved ones who have remained dead and alive, reclaiming our time to cry. Thanks. So I got a couple minutes left. I'm going to do two more, I think, just to not surpass the time here. This is our next poem is also from Jaula. It's called Corima. Corima is a Rarámuri word that roughly translates to the sort of notion of reciprocity, of giving back, of kind of, keeping the cycle of relations of life going. I really like the term, I think, because it's a nice counterpoint. It's a nice sort of alternative vision to a lot of settler colonial and capitalist modes of extraction and of constantly kind of taking and taking without reciprocating. So Corima. Caught and muzzled, I dream of our release, dream of the voices carved inside my enclosure, made of bones and breath. Feel this vision still, unspoken, but for ancestors, and you, lover of mine, you are a blessing, rain, kissing this desert cage. I dream you, promise to replenish the depleted, return the plundered, love the wounded, suffocated cry of desire buried beneath my cell walls. And I will reach for you, will remain with you, and retain your song delicate on my lips. And we will remember time, like our bodies touching, without another word, answers our howling. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. This poem is a work in progress, and so much so that I actually think the transcript I sent, I've already changed a little bit. Shannon, sorry. But it's just a small change. This poem I also hope to be in my book of poetry that'll be out next year through Tolson Books. I don't think I mentioned that, but Tolson Books, check them out. The poem is called Post-Revolutionary Letter, and it's after Wendy Trevino. Something I'm learning or trying to relate through futile devices, limited further by the time we do not have left. The children who are no longer children, and perhaps never were, are ready to fight, move, go. Be encouraged by them. Listen, respond, share, defend. Let them be loud, and let them be wrong, though never both at once. Finally, don't be among those who fail to nurture them, or worse still, oppose their rightful return to a future owed them for longer than any language can capture. TLDR, you're here to help or stay out of the way, so go. Cool. Thank you, everybody. That was the last poem I had. That last one, it was inspired by Wendy Trevino's Revolutionary Letter, which I highly recommend as a poem, especially this Labor Day weekend. Anyway, I have some experience as a labor organizer that I've recently started, and that poem, her poem rather, really captures kind of everything you need to know about organizing labor. So anyone interested in labor organizing or interested in starting a union, holler at me, ask me a question, but also read that poem, Trevino's poem. I really recommend it. Okay, so we have a question that says, how has the pandemic and all its strictures changed the way you work, read, and make sense of the place you're writing community? Oh, gosh, yeah. It's been tough. I think like most people, I oscillate between like feeling like, I have kind of time to really sit down and concentrate on something, and then feeling equally like I don't have the wherewithal to sit and really concentrate on anything, because the pandemic is so consuming. Even if you're fortunate enough not to be sick or be economically devastated by it. I've tried to keep in touch. Just trying to be proactive, trying to keep in touch with friends and others in my community, trying to keep reading. Doing stuff like this helps, because it, in the slow rot of time, you can just be floating through so much. But if you're like, well, I have a thing I have to do, so I have to prepare for it, or I have a deadline. My editors are tuning in. I have a deadline I have to meet, so I need to get back to work on this manuscript, or I need to, read up on something. Those really help, just kind of making, if you've ever been unemployed for a stretch of time, it's similar kind of, like, you kind of have to just make your own schedule and fake it till you make it kind of thing, until it becomes regimented enough. But it's not easy, and I definitely slip up a ton. The other question I got asked, can you tell us about your experiences working with indie presses? Yeah, it's been dope so far. All the indie presses I've been fortunate to work with. Editors have been super dope. I don't know. I wish I had more to say other than indie presses. Recommend them. Recommend buying from them. Recommend working with them. Pitch them your stuff. Get a gig for them as an editor if you feel so inclined. I definitely at some point down the line would like to do more editorial work. But yeah, I Gashert Journal, Tolson Books, Rinky Dink Press, hit them up. They're great. They're wonderful. And then tell us about the new book of poetry you're working on. Sure. It's a work in progress. Like I said, it will be a lot of found text. And not just in the sense of sort of published or printed things, but as I read in those poems featuring my parents, a lot of kind of also writing about narratives, storytelling, kind of words that have been passed down to me by my community, whether that is sort of my direct, by my sort of nuclear family, or really my entire community. As the bio mentioned, I was born and raised in the Washington-Escobedo community, which is a historically Mexican and black neighborhood in downtown Mesa, Arizona. So I don't know, just having grown up around a lot of really rich and really wonderful senses of history and cultural expression that are kind of counter storytelling to a lot of, what I would learn in a textbook, or kind of the narratives that much of the United States tells about itself through these proper channels. So I'm trying to really convey that in this book of poetry that will, kind of, it's part colonial archive research, part it's kind of oral storytelling and centering my hometown, my neighborhood, and the city of Mesa, and kind of the state of Arizona writ large is kind of like the place where all these things are intersecting, while also trying to be good poems. So yeah, I'm in the midst of that, and if my editors are listening, hard at work. Gonna meet our next deadline for sure. Yeah, I don't know if I got much more to say about it, unless there's any other questions. If not, I haven't gotten the light or anything, but in case there are no more questions, I will go ahead and I don't know. I think there are links. How? Yeah, the links were shared though. So please go out and buy my Howla. You can get as an ebook, so you don't have to worry about shipping. It's compatible with most ebook readers. Roto Mixtape you can get through Rinky Dink Press in the Series 7, I believe. So for $12 you get this plus a couple of other micro chapbooks. Yeah. And yeah, follow me on Twitter. I guess it's been posted, but yeah, otherwise thank you everybody. Thank you to Poets in Pajamas for hosting me. And yeah, everybody stay safe, unionize your workplace or join the pre-existing union, and let's get the compensation and benefits and world that we all deserve as workers. Thanks everybody. Bye.